This is one of the hardest challenges I've done. Builds will be linked in the description in the pinned comment. This is how I pulled it off. Since floors 9 to 10 are a cakewalk, I'll explain the main teams and general strategies. The Noelle team is composed of Noelle, Kaya, Xiangling, and Amber. Our Hyperbloom team is composed of Dendro Traveler, Colette, Barbara, and Lisa. I will use the Hyperbloom team if enemies automatically approach and group around me. Since 1, Bloom reactions perform great with multiple targets getting afflicted and creating many Dendro cores. And 2, the first interaction of Traveler's Burst plus Hydro covers a good portion of AoE, which helps with our lack of NMO CC for the challenge. If enemies didn't approach me or I needed faster clears in the first half, I'd run my Noelle team there since their DPS output is higher than the Hyperbloom team. Pair this with the Moon Blessing carrying us with the Resistance Shred on Bloom team, I have a good chance of completing the impossible. Despite this being the leisurely part of the challenge, I played like a complete monkey, especially in 10-3. I should have restarted when I had some pretty bad rotations. It would have been smarter to target the Pyro Gunner after killing the Hydro Gunner since the other 3 enemies follow me. Without Hydro, it takes an entire minute just to kill him with brute force. Baron Bunny actually helps with keeping some of the aggro off of me. I should have waited for the teleport before using Colette's burst since her AoE is so small. The Traveler's AoE comes in clutch though, even when the Maiden teleports. Normally I'd be malding about the Electro Charge shit, but somehow it actually helped me by pushing me out of the way before the Maiden's cage appeared. Guess the Electro Mages chose to int today, and I have no idea how Colette lived on 200 HP. I completely forgot about the slowing water. The real strategy should be focusing on Sisson Mages because I don't have shields, and using Barbara to tank loses out on Bloom DPS if my Dendro bursts aren't active. Honestly, I got pretty lucky despite my many mistakes, but as a wise man once said, don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You're going to fuck up again in the future. 11-1 is Monolith defense, which is fine. I do hate the fungi enemies though. They're not difficult, but it's just really dumb that most of them will just stand in one spot and their spawns are on opposite sides of the chamber. For the first half, I noticed the 2 side robots that shoot the lasers deal the most damage to the monolith. I reset to see I could do better in the first half and definitely did with 83% integrity. I managed to kill 1 bot, but their constructs are still just damaging the monolith too much. I accepted the 2 stars and moved on. I can easily come back and redo this without holding back on saving my bursts. I'm not gonna lie, this is the start of the molding over having no Animo CC and why I'm feeling very toxic. I focused on the Dancer since she had the slowing water aura. I took down the shield of one of the Pyro Gunners so that they'd be temporarily paralyzed and focused on the other. My plan at the moment was to remove their shield, then kill these 3 who were somehow grouped, but no, it didn't go according to plan. The archers can actually move and reposition. Not gonna lie, my gameplay was still sloppy. I wasn't triggering Hyperblooms as much as I should have. In the second half, I focused on the Mirror Maiden and let the Axe guys follow me, then deal with the archers last. Unfortunately, I wasted so much time in the first half, I wasn't gonna get the 3 stars. I am definitely feeling the struggle of energy management with the Noelle team because while my damage output is great when my bursts are active, I wasn't generating enough particles for another rotation off cooldown. Since I entered 11-3 with no bursts ready in the second half, I used this run as practice. Little did I realize how much pain and suffering I was in for. Back in 11-1, I killed the first bot that shot the lasers and then kinda just went with the flow and was able to hit both the shield bot and enchanter for half HP afterwards. I got lucky the last bot decloaked itself, so I primarily focused on it since he was doing the most damage to the monolith while the shielder died as collateral. Making our way back to 11-3, I've cleared the first wave in 50 seconds, which isn't great but still recoverable. I generated particles and set up my burst when the second samurai dashed into me. I tried to hold down Lisa's E, but I got staggered by everyone and died, so I reset. And so I failed. A lot. Are you fucking kidding me? I tried a new strategy focusing on the melee enemies first and then working my way to the archers after killing at least 2 of them. Yeah, it sounded fine. If they didn't fucking back up, who gave their AI permission to make good decisions? To add more salt to my open wounds, the double samurai just won't stay together and I'm getting shot by these 4 dickhead archers. Look at this! They're spreading out so far from my Colette! What the hell? Alright, that death is on me. Why are you running? I finally got some decent grouping, but I didn't have enough time for the second half. I need at least a minute, or so I thought. Next, I tried targeting the archers first, and despite getting the same time of 50 to 60 seconds, I could see this potentially working, with some good positioning and a lot of luck. Okay, I don't remember why I did this. I think I just wanted to try something else after failing for like 30 minutes. This team comp performed worse. While Noelle's ult can cover a large area, it's still not big enough when they're so far spread out. Wait, my Lisa burst is enough to push them? What the heck? Okay. That grouping of the archers is actually good. Fuck you, game. Fuck you! Bruh, it pushes them. Oh my god, this game sucks. Okay, this could be the run. No! The pyro aura bullshit! Oh my lord in Christ. I got 45 seconds. There is a small chance this could be it. Remember when I said the struggle of generating particles? Yeah, it sucks. This grouping is insanely good. What changed today? Damn it, the red samurai took too much damage. God, I really don't have the energy particle generation to do this in less than a minute. Bosses drop so few energy particles. After another 15 minutes of failing and bad runs, I finally caught a lucky break with this samurai's AI performing a different action. Going into the second half with 816, I was insanely close. I literally needed a few more particles fed to Noelle to have her burst up. The angry chicken had like 10% of their HP left by the 7-minute mark. I took a break and changed my builds for the second half. I got a worse time than before because the Traveler died. Despite this, having Kaya and Noelle run Vivonius weapons did help my energy generation problem. Although I lost a bit of damage on Noelle because I don't have a crit rate circlet on the Husk set, so she's running a 4-piece Gladiators now. Later in the evening, I reset because I gave Amber a Vivonius weapon. Don't ask me why I didn't in the first place. Again, I got lucky that the Samurai's AI locked in a different action after the other died. I am so close, even with that final push. I just need like an extra 15 seconds somehow, or just perfect rotations. I can't give up now. Thankfully, it would pay off. I will let Mr. Editor take over with the subtitles from here and just show you the full successful run. So at this point, I needed to spend the next few days trying to optimize my builds, especially for the Hyperbloom team. Day 3 was really short, my buff cards were ass, so I just went in to practice and form a strategy for 12-3. I hadn't switched my builds yet, I was farming and planning for those off screen. In the first half, I got some pretty good runs of 90 seconds, which at least is promising. If I was doing worse than this, the challenge would have already been over and this video would not exist. Now in the second half, part of me thought that this was impossible. However, if I have my burst rotations ready when I stun the boss, look how much HP I shred off of them in around 10 seconds. And this still wasn't even an optimal rotation or builds yet. One important strategy against the algorithm is Lisa's conductive stacks are actually able to mark the boss, so I am able to see where the boss is when it's invisible. However, if I fail to do this, then it's a dead run because I can't auto-target the boss when it's invisible. A lot of the time, auto-targeting will prioritize the constructs instead, so hitting the invisible boss will require precise timing and positioning. This will become a reoccurring issue. Day 4, I restarted and actually tried to 3-star 12-2 instead, because to me, it felt that it was the easiest chamber to get the 3 stars, and it would have been nice to just do it now and not worry about time when going back to 12-3. Sadly, I'm not allowed to have nice things because Magu Kenki is way too mobile, countering the Hyperbloom team. I even tried switching the teams, and surprisingly, the Hyperbloom team did just as well as the Noelle team in the first half. However, I am once again struggling with energy management against bosses. So the best I can do was get Magu to around 40% of his HP by the 7-minute mark. Day 5 was great in terms of progress, and also shit because I was so close to 3-starring 12-3 and 12-2. At this point, I finally finished my build, so now it just depended on improving my own gameplay and praying to the Archons that AI RNG doesn't screw me over. Regardless, the main issue now is that these bishops are just annoying. They can drain a lot of my energy with certain attacks, but the Vivonius weapons sort of help counter this. The real run killer is how well the bishops are grouped. It is frustrating because they get staggered and pushed by basically everything. So there are times where using a skill or burst will separate the grouping. The double-edged sword that can help is Amber's Baron Bunny. When taunted, they will generally stay in one spot for me to damage them. However, if they are taunted from a distance, most of the time they just won't move at all. So grouping them is still aggravating and inconsistent. I messed up the stun, but I started to realize that the boss always spawns in the same place the first time it goes invisible. And for the first run of the day, look how far we've come. Like eyeballing it, that's like maybe 30% of its HP left by the 7-minute mark. A few runs later, it was so close. It felt that it wasn't enough, that I wasn't enough. Every time I felt the first half was going well, suddenly I looked again and it was still 90-second runs. Admittedly, I wasn't doing perfect rotations with the Hyperbloom yet. With every attempt, I was just testing which full rotation would be more efficient and figuring out every little mistake I was making. But the fact I got so close despite playing suboptimally still felt bad. Victory is almost there. I know it can be done. I felt that I was repeatedly hitting a wall, so I decided to take a break and go try and get 3 stars again on 12-2. I tried a strategy of hugging the wall and letting the ruin enemies approach me. It's a 10-second loss for DPS, but it does keep them grouped. Sadly, it only worked once because either one of the drakes wouldn't take as much damage as the other, or a character gets killed in the reactions. So instead, I opted to target the Ruin Serpent and Scout first and let the drakes be collateral. It doesn't help that when a Ruin Drake is able to increase its resistance because it's always Dendro, which halves my team's bloom damage. Eventually, through some miracle of RNG, I managed to clear the first half in 8:40. This is the run. I have 90 seconds after Magu's stupid startup phase. His AI RNG, the timing of burst uptime here, it was as perfect as I could hope for. And then the last 30 seconds, it all fell apart. I don't know what was going through my head. I think I just tunnel visioned too much on his HP and just kept making small mistakes that cost me the run. A few attempts later, I cleared the first half in 5 seconds faster. This was a strange fight because I was expecting Magu to dash away, and yet he remained in one spot. And I'm pretty damn sure Magu did it on purpose, looking down on me with how much HP he had left, seeing the pain in my eyes and laughing. This went on for another hour with no results, so let's move on to the next day. Now, I did learn one really stupid trick in this first half. For some unknown reason, one of the Ruin Drakes would just randomly decide to back up when spawning. But to prevent this, if you stand at or behind the start challenge key, I don't actually know what this thing is called, literally not a centimeter over, the Ruin Drakes will not back up. And it's consistent. How and why? Another couple hours of failed attempts, I moved on to 12-3 before taking a break. I got incredibly lucky because I'm pretty sure the boss moving behind me again is a bug. I was going to take full advantage of it. Unfortunately, he was just out of range of Traveler's ult, so this is a little awkward. And yeah, so close yet again. If he didn't freaking go invisible a third time. If I didn't get screwed by auto-targeting again, I could have done it. A whole hour later of failing and trying to perfect my gameplay, I was mentally bashing my head against the wall over the literal seconds I could have saved in the first half. And then Cole's burst, auto-targeting backwards, fucking piece of shit, cheap-ass Chinese game. I'm honestly more frustrated myself, wondering what am I even doing with my life? I searched some error for the last Dendro Oculus I needed to upgrade the statue so that I could get a C4 Dendro Traveler. I'm not gonna lie, day 7 felt like the lowest of lows for this challenge. I honestly thought about quitting. I'm not even joking. But I figured I might as well at least keep trying until the moon blessing resets. And then after 30 minutes, everything changed. I was literally shaking and had to check if the footage was recording or that this wasn't a dream. I got ready to make it back to 12-2 now. That's right, Magu, you're next, bitch. There is only one chamber left. I know it will take a lot of practice for it because I've ignored this for so long. One thing I had to look up was the resistances on the Ermite enemies. The first half with Ermites don't have any specific resistances that would counter me, so we're good there. As for the Gale Hunter and Stone Enchanter, I have just one question for Mohoyle. What in the actual fuck is this? 60% on all resistances in their enhanced state? Yes, I know they have negative 10% on all resistances when they're stunned, but killing their summons is just not gonna happen. They move around too much and stagger me hard. I am definitely in for a rough time in this final part. Day 9, and I'm just gonna say it, 12-1 sucks ass without crowd control. It's just 11-3 again, but just more HP. But at least there's no bullshit aura effect on the enemy, so I'll take that, I guess. Now, I thought this team change was big brain, using Geo Traveler's ult to keep the enemies trapped, hide behind my Traveler's skill, and force them to funnel themselves at me. Unfortunately, I suck at playing Geo Traveler. While I could practice more, I realized while experimenting that the DPS check here just sucks, because it's spread between 2 waves on each half. This really kills the pace of my runs. For the second wave, it's best to focus the Gale Hunter since the Stone Enchanter follows me. To my surprise, it's actually possible to one-cycle the Gale Hunter and get the Enchanter to half HP after one rotation of bursts. Unfortunately, since I only get one buff card for this chamber, a lot of the good runs are gonna come down to AI RNG. Yay! I woke up on day 10 and after 30 minutes of a few decent runs that ended bad in the second half, this happened. There's no better way to start my day than with depression.
1 hour later.
With that, I am happy to announce the challenge is complete. 36-star Abyss, OG8/starter characters only on mobile. Recorded in the history books, aka this video. The hardest 36 Abyss challenge I could force myself to do on my own account. If you made it this far and want to continue supporting the channel, like and subscribe. It helps with the algorithm. And I just want to thank all of you for the support these past 2 months. It means a lot to me. I have a couple of fun Abyss challenges that aren't going to be focused on getting stars as much, but I will still get as much as I can. So look forward to that around early 2023. I'm DragonLordLeda, and I'm gonna go touch grass for a month now.